Not to worry. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Oh, good stuff. I'll start by just asking, look, it's impossible to stay spoiler free, especially but we will at this beginning. Tell me why should people, I usually finish with this question. So tell me, why should people watch this movie? Why should they choose to watch Ultrasound? What will they get out of it?
I think it's this story is different from a lot of movies that you might have in front of you. So, if you want to try something different, I would say go with Ultrasound. It's good grounded sci-fi. It has a lot of mysteries to be solved. It might take a little bit of work to unpack it, but I think it's rewarding and it has a good solid end. So give it a try.
So you would describe it as a mystery thriller, sci-fi. It's got a mismatch of genres.
Yeah, a little bit. I love grounded sci-fi and I love mysteries and kind of puzzle films. So, there's a long tradition of these type of movies, I think.
Is there a director? Oh, yeah, definitely. Is there a director cameo? Do you appear in the movie somewhere?
Oh man, I have to think about it. I don't think so. No, I'm not in there.
I was kind of looking for you, but that explains why you weren't there. No. Also, when you direct, you have a director's chair with your name on it?
There was no names. So I had a different chair every day, whatever I could find. But no, we didn't have names. We didn't have names on the chairs.
Was the movie made with long-term multiple viewings in mind for people to say, hang on, I need to watch that again?
Yeah, I think so. I hope people enjoy it enough to want to give it another go, because when you watch it a second time, it's a completely different film. It has to be. So you're seeing things, with fresh eyes, even though you've already seen the movie. So I think that's part of the fun in it is giving it a second viewing, maybe not the same day, but there's a lot there. And we put in a lot of little Easter eggs that you wouldn't notice the first time, but you might enjoy.
Well, I noticed the watch going off when the lab-coated doctor. Yeah, that triggered me.
That's a good one.
Yeah. What sort of research goes into a story like this because of the multiple layers involved? How deep did you go? I know it's based on a graphic novel, but did you expand that?
No, Connor, who wrote the graphic novel, wrote the script. So, I think the book has a little bit more, there's more story and a little more character stuff. One of the things kind of going in, we decided it can't be too long. We want to make this, thing 110 pages, I think was the target. So, we stuck with that and, yeah.
Well, it was plausible without being plausible. As a director, was it tricky to maintain that?
I mean, the trickiest thing was like you described. I had to keep kind of all of the character arcs in mind all the time, because there'd be scenes where the actors needed to understand where their character was, even physically. So even though we might be filming in one location, people would ask, well, what's really happening? So, and for each character, it was different. So I think there was a lot of juggling and one of the challenges was getting that information across to the audience and trying to track where the audience was the whole time, because I knew the whole story. But they're figuring it out moment by moment.
Hypnosis is a big part of it. Hopefully you've seen the film watching this interview now. Have you ever been put under hypnosis or know anyone? that's
I
been put up?
haven't. I know that
Okay.
Connor was in high school and there was a stage hypnotist who performed, and one of his best friends was hypnotized, and it
Yeah.
was, I think similar to what's in the movie. He
Okay.
was my Connor was convinced that this kid was completely confused by it.
Yeah, well, Connor's done well writing and transferring it into a screenplay. Did you confer a lot with him to make sure that you were getting it right, or did he leave you, on the set to
We
your own
worked we
devices?
worked pretty closely together, and what was
That's
interesting, he
good.
had written 2 books. This whole story is 4 books. So he wrote 2 books, then he wrote the
Yeah,
screenplay, and then he wrote book 3 and 4.
sure.
And he came to LA from Chicago, where he's a professor, and we worked together on the script.
That's
So
good.
it was a very close collaboration. We had him on set for a few days. So yeah, we worked pretty closely.
Now, it's interesting you said that it had a strong ending. You love the ending. I don't know how I felt about the ending, and I guess that's because I need to watch it a second time.
Yeah.
Was it ever changed? Did you ever film a couple of alternate endings potentially?
Not I mean, maybe a couple details. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to give too much away, but a couple details at the very end. But I mean, most of for there was the big reveals were always there. That was always the
Right.
design of the script.
Casting is really important. I gotta say that Brita Wool is a minor revelation as Shannon. She's
She's
outstanding.
wonderful.
Becomes the lead as far as I'm concerned. Haven't seen a lot of her work, but now I'm going to backtrack and watch it. Can you start with her? How did you cast her and why? Because the chemistry
She
with everyone was good too.
it was amazing for her. I felt like she was Shannon. Like, it was, when I
Yeah,
saw her, heard her voice, and I knew she was a talented actor. Um, it just felt right. And she really brought a lot too, as far as understanding the character and creating Shannon was phenomenal. And yeah, it was a dream working with her.
yeah, you felt for that character and what she went through. Loved it, and sort of funny, darkly funny, and I that was intentional too. Obviously, a bit of comedy in there.
Yeah, I like keeping it a little light sometimes. It's such a, these themes are pretty dark, and
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it fun.
Was there a romance in there too? I mean, the leads kind of thought they were with each other, and they weren't. Again, I'm
Yeah,
hoping
that's
people
something
have
that
seen it.
Connor and I talked a lot about. How did this really happen, and what is Art and Cindy, like, what are they up to? Like, what is their thing? And I do think that there was some, in the story, there's real romance.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about Vincent and Chelsea then. Did you screen test them? Did you have other actors in mind? Because you chose the casting overall was terrific, but those two obviously were
Yeah, they were
great for
amazing.
you. Chelsea,
Vincent was an acquaintance of mine, and we have a lot of mutual friends. So I was
yeah,
able to send him the script. We had great conversation. He seemed to really understand Glen and kind of what Glen's going through. And he was the first actor on board. And Chelsea did do a screen test, and she she's phenomenal. She also, similar to Brita, it's like, once I
yeah.
saw what Chelsea was able to do, she felt like she was Cindy, and equally brought a very unique perspective to it.
You've really gained a lot of momentum out of these actors. How do you, as a director, are you a close working to your cast director, or do you just give them a script and let them go? How close do you work
Um,
with them?
I mean, it's hard to say, because this wasn't ideal. We
COVID
had a pretty low budget.
restriction?
We were moving pretty fast, so we didn't do a rehearsal. So everything was done on set.
Yeah,
But I had good conversations with each actor. they, you know, understood, I think, what was in the script, but also brought, you know, backstory and perspective and understanding. And that made a big difference.
It's like if Twin Peaks had a whole bunker underneath their town, this could be happening.
Yeah, that's the highest compliment.
That's how I felt. Twin Peaks up there, ultrasound down here.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
love
also
those
noticed,
worlds.
yeah, I think so. I noticed Felix DeBecker's name in the credits. That was interesting. And was she a part of the production? I've noticed her in a few movies and she's a great talent herself.
Felix DeBecker?
Yeah, her name was in the cast. Maybe you
I don't
didn't
know
get
which part she it must have been a small part.
right. She was and the production's assistant. She was part of the team.
Oh,
Just
okay.
wondering. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
really cool. Tell me about independent film. Is it something that you're passionate about? Do you think people still with the challenges of getting films seen and eyeballs on movies? Is that a challenge as a director?
Yeah, I think it's, it's a miracle to get anything made. It's very hard to do. So whether it's a movie or a TV show or a series,
Yeah.
but I personally love the independent spirit of making films on your own and doing it however you need to do it. So, hopefully there's an audience and a channel for that to continue because,
really,
yeah, for me, it's the best.
Now, before we wrap it up, I've got to mention two things. The music enhances the film. Zach, he composed some really interesting stuff. Did you let him go for it, or did you have that sort of retro sound in mind?
We talked a lot about, sounds, inspirations, type of, the type of music that would be on the palette. And then Brock Bodell, our editor, would edit in temp score.
Yeah.
And then, with as soon as we had the title Ultrasound, the book is called Generous Bosom. So as soon as we had the title Ultrasound, I think it became a challenge to live up to that title. So, Bob Burrito did the sound design and mix, and Zach was scoring, and they just traded sounds back and forth. And, I had a feeling it would be pretty wall to wall. And, hopefully it didn't disappoint. It was also, because these frequencies are narrative elements, we wanted really to kind of go overboard on that and make it as authentic as possible. So, there are different sounds for different frequencies and different moments in the film and all that stuff.
Well, it took about 10 minutes or so, but the opening credits, when they kicked in, very Tron-like.
Oh, yeah, that was
good.
Yeah, that was amazing. Those were made by Robert Beatty, and he's a phenomenal, I guess he's best known for album art, but he also does illustrations for New York Times and all kinds of people. And he made the titles, and he also made a poster for a festival poster. And working with him was a thrill. I think he's one of the greatest.
Well, congratulations. I really look forward to see what you've got coming up. Please
Thanks.
work with Breeder in every movie you do from
Oh,
now
yeah.
on.
Oh, man. I hope I can. She really is phenomenal. And that was, across the board, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Prioritizing actors and cast was sort of a secret to success because, if you don't get that right, you're in big trouble.
I felt Rainey Qualley was a little bit underused. I would have liked to see more of her backstory or something as well. That's probably one of my few gripes of the film.
That's reasonable.
The politician.
For me, it was a lot of that, because we wanted to keep that page count down, and and the book has a lot more. So, it was about really being as economic as possible and I would have loved to have seen more of her character and gone home with these characters, you know, like there's a lot of interesting stuff that we didn't get to explore, but yeah, next time.
Would have been an interesting rap party, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good on you, mate. I'm coming to you from Sydney, so it's just after 3 a.m. But it was worth.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Thank you so much.
Hey, no worries at all. I hope we get to meet again and talk again. Good luck with your.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.